Hi all you beautiful people. Today I'm gonna make some Hungarian Gullasch soup, I think you call it. And I've got some different things I'm going to show you. Need some olive oil to fry the vegetables a bit. And just before we start, I'll just talk a little bit about meat, because I'm going to use some of my broth from one of the young cows we've had butchered. And see, these cuts of meat that are not so tender, you have to cook for a long time. And so you get this meat that's actually cooked for a long time. And as far as I know, it's actually easier to digest meat that is only cooked a little bit for a little while. So I'm sort of mixing a bit of my own ideas into this, because usually you would make the meat, have this meat that's cooked for a long time with your goulash. But you can actually also use mince. So I've got this beautiful mince. I have it thawing, have had it in the freezer, just thaw it a bit more. From one of our, this is it has a very fine, beautiful taste. And that really only has to go into the soup for a few minutes, and then it's cooked. So I think I'm going to do that instead of using some of the meat that I had cooking in this broth. So because the thing is, it's so interesting with all this meat, and if you have animals that you butcher, really, as I've talked about before on YouTube, the most valuable really is the bones. And that's, for most of us, we've grown up thinking that the meat is the most valuable and the bones you give to the dogs. But really, there are so many very, very valuable nutrients in the bones, and when you take your time to cook them for a couple of days or more, you draw out, and you put the vinegar in there, you draw out all these very, very, very nutritious and also very healing substances from the bones. So the meat is nice too, but really we don't need such great amounts of meat. So with this soup I'm making here, I'm going to focus on the broth and the vegetables and just put a little bit of meat in there. So I think that's a more balanced way, a good way to make this. So just give you a look at what we're having, what we're using. I haven't washed it yet, but I've got this gorgeous broth here. Look at this. So nice. So wonderful. So it's actually cooked for, some of those bones have cooked for 3 days. Very, very nutritious stuff. And I've got some organic, most of this is, actually all of this is organic. Red peppers. I've got some paprika, which is the mild one, 3 tablespoons. And 1 tablespoon of cumin, which actually should have been whole cumin, but that's okay. And here I have some cayenne pepper, but I might add a bit more, just see how strong it is. Some garlic, some onions, a bit of potato, just a little bit, not too much starch. And carrots and celery. And I'm just using this canned things. It's chopped tomatoes, and this is tomato paste, all organic, which is just really wonderful. And yeah, so, and here we have the old pot on the stove. Put it on there, and I'll get the vegetables ready and we'll get going. I'll start off with some tallow. First the onions go in. We might want to have them nice and soft, the onions, so not too much heat. Have a little bit more heat. Chop the garlic. Now I just got an idea, because when you usually are making this, you'll have these onions cooking a long time with the meat. But because I'm not going to cook this for very long, and I want it very creamy, I think I'm going to be blending that. So the other vegetables, the carrot and the celery and the red pepper and the potato, I think I'll put into the broth here so that they actually cook tender, and when all this is blended with the tomatoes, I can add it together. I think that would be a good way to do it. So I'm going to heat up this broth. I'll heat this broth. It's actually about 3 litres of broth. I don't know if it's a bit too much. Maybe I should take a little bit away. You can always add some more. Good. And I've sieved it so there's no lumps in there or anything. So lovely. It just really worked out well. You don't often get it like this. Often it's just so runny. This is really, really wonderful. Take this off. I think that would be good. So now it's cooked a fair bit, and I'll add these spices because we want them to sort of be browned a bit. That brings out the taste in them. Watch it doesn't burn, and we'll add the tomatoes. I'll just put the lid on, turn it right down, and just let it cook so it's completely soft, and then we'll blend it. Now to this broth I'm adding just the carrots and the potatoes because they need to be cooked the most, and when they're getting soft I'll add the other vegetables. Put a lid on that and just let it cook gently until they're nearly soft. Yeah. And meanwhile I can these last vegetables. I won't use too much celery because it can actually be too much. I think I'll go like this. It's really mainly for the taste. The celery gives it a very particular, lovely, fresh taste. Some people, there's so many ways you can make this. You can also add bacon in the beginning. Oh, we don't want them too big. Now I'll just make these little balls with this. I could put a little bit of salt on it. But I won't put anything in it. I think I'll just have the meat as it is. I think that will be fine. You could also roast them first, but I think this will be very delicious. Just add them very carefully. And black pepper, we're going to have some black pepper too, to see how strong it is when we get to the very end, and I can always add some more strength to it so it gets a bit strong or a bit hot. Sometimes I put some, I like to avoid flour, as you know. I put some ground flax. You can actually make them stick very well together if you use that. Praise you, Lord, for your gifts. Of course, just get all the stuff from the cans. You can, of course, add some water to them. Get all this beautiful juice. So now the vegetables are boiling. Just turn it down. And that gives me a chance to actually skim it off again, the soup. Because it does make it more clear when you skim it off well. I can just sit there and cook for a few minutes. See, it's all sort of lumpy, and I want to have it nice and soft. So I'm going to blend this. I know it sounds a little bit mad, but I'll do it anyway. Vegetables have all been added now after the potatoes and carrots were cooked. I added the celery and the red pepper. And the tomato mix I actually blended and sieved because I thought there was just too much pulp there. So I think when we finish this, I'll make a bit of an adjustment to the recipe, because I think I'd use less onions and more and also the chopped tomatoes. I mean, when you're not cooking it for so long, they're very fibrous still, the vegetables, and you want a lovely creamy soup with not too many lumps in it. So now this is the broth with all the vegetables and the tomato mixture I made with the onions. I have that at the side. I'm going to add that in a moment. Pulp away. So I'll just add this. This is what I actually sieved from the onion mix. So it's nice and really creamy and soft. This was all the stuff I sieved away. So I think I'll do this in another way next time. But as this boils, what I'm going to do is just add these meatballs one at a time. Or just add the whole lot and let them cook in there for about 10 minutes. And there you go. There's a few more. And we'll get back to it when it's nice and cooked. Okay, so it's actually looking very lovely now, and the meatballs look like they're done. Just have a look. Yeah, it's all done. And now I'm just going to have a taste of it. Oh, it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I'll add a tiny bit of apple cider vinegar. I love that. And just a tiny bit of salt, I think. That's all it really needs. It's really a soup, for sure. But let's have some here. Just see what it looks like. And what's nice to put in it is some cream, some sour cream. This is actually some yogurt, so it's not the best. Just put that in the middle there. Sour cream is really nice. Yeah, just so lovely. And just have a taste of this. Well, they stuck together very well. They didn't need any egg or anything. I'll just taste a piece of meat. I think what I would do is leave it there, just soak there and eat it the next day or something, because the meat could have had some spices and onion and garlic added to it. But all in all, we got the goulash soup made and it worked out really well, I think. So I just want to leave a little comment after this video. This soup turned out really, really nice, and I left it in the big pot for next day, and then I tasted it, and the meat was very, very tasty. So although the meat was just pure meat, because it stood there all night, it sucked up all the beautiful taste from the soup. So this is really a good way to do it. But I thought it was really messy with that sieving business, so I just want to tell you what you can do if you want to try this. See, the thing is, what I'm going to do next time is I'm going to use a little bit more fat for the onions, and I'm going to cook the onions on much lower heat and for much longer. Because onions, they really, to make them really soft and very, very tasty, they need a long time. And a way you can make them very soft is to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of water while they're simmering. And yeah, when they're really golden and soft, I'll add the tomatoes. And if you have a good blender, you can just blend it really smooth, and I think you won't need to sieve that. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that next time. That's a way to, because you want to make something very delicious, but also you want it easy. So I hope you feel like cooking this, and it was lots of fun, and I made it for my son, and he really loves it. So it's good when you know it's really healthy stuff you're using, and it's really nutritious. So happy cooking, my friend. See you.